Hey, what's up everybody? Yeah, I know it's kind of late and everything, but I thought I'd read something off here. I was planning to do this way earlier, except I went to the store and took care of stuff early in the morning and then came back and my mom and my nephew woke me up, so what more can you do? But anyway, this is basically Louis-the-Hedgehog, LTH. A small little lecture pose non-fiction editorial they did at DeviantArt, and it's entitled, and I think you can read it up there on the thing. It says, "A fandom divided against itself cannot stand." Now, pretty much, I think you can understand where he's probably coming from with this. If not, let me read on what he wrote, or what he typed, and I quote, LTH, Louis-the-Hedgehog, I quote, this is what he said. Capitalized, it starts out, "Okay, yes, at this point we all know what has happened so far. The loss of Ben Hurst, the atrocities of Ian, and the loss of William Wyndham, and the loss of William Wyndham. Overall, it feels like our childhoods are on the chopping block and the blade is rising. We all know that this is not a good feeling. And if the blade falls, it will result in the biggest fan war we have ever seen. It will dwarf all other fan wars combined. All hell/heck will break loose. However, preparing for war can usually be very effective. However, preparing for war could usually be a very effective way of preserving peace. I've already made some preparations by making clever speeches. I've already made some preparations, but making clever speeches can only do so much. So I've decided to put this up here to start the next step, and give us a chance to draw up plans to deal with the current crisis. In parentheses he puts, and what directions we shall take afterwards. As for me, I have some, shall we say, some connections in high places right now. If this works, it could greatly sway our influence. But I also want to hear your ideas so we all can use them. A fandom divided itself cannot stand, and we're all in this together. So basically what I get from LTH here is he's saying that he's preparing for the worst, and that for some odd reason he has, it kind of surprises me a little bit when I read this, but he says he has connections in high places. So I don't know what that means. If he knows anybody at Archie, if he knows anybody that can, sway some influence or something, I don't know. But you see, basically what he's saying is that we all, as fans, either we like what's going on, or either we don't. We all have to come together and basically work something out. We cannot be divided just because of our differences. And I do agree on that. And, this is just his opinion, what he's saying. He's just coming out and saying, look, I'm preparing for the worst. I've got some connection somewhere that I know I can trust because I'm preparing for the worst, because I don't know what's going to happen next. And again, this all goes back to what Sarah Nizarak told me, and I said this in the first video before this, where both skunks, I think, basically what I said, the reason some fans are reacting the way they are is because, like Sarah Nizarak told me in his response video to me, it's basically a drastic shift in momentum. It's a drastic shift. Basically, what we have here, again, is a drastic shift. What you have is a character like, say, Sally, who's been established since you know, since the days of Sat AM, since the very first issues of the comics 20 years ago, so according to some, and yet now, for about nearly 10 issues, 9 officially if you think about it, but the end of 230 going into 231, so basically almost 10 issues, you've had her roboticized, you've had her weaponized, and you don't know exactly where Ian's going with this. So yeah, it's a huge dramatic shift for a lot of fans. I mean, to see someone like, you know, the character of Sally, see a character like Antoine injured in a coma, Bunny going AWOL, you know, it's not easy for them. It's a shift in momentum. So, again, I totally agree the fandom needs to be together, doesn't need to be divided in some ways, but I don't know about this whole connection in high places. So, that's all I'm going to say on it. Comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later.